Okay, so someone asked me to make a video about my hospitalization for my depression and stuff. Here's the full story. January 12th, 2011, I had a panic attack in school. Both my school psychiatrists were out at a meeting, but the intern was there. So I had this rant that I went on to the poor school intern. At the end of it, my conclusion pretty much was, if I'm gonna get help, I might kill myself. That's how that went. So she gave me my options. She told me I could call my dad right now, she said I could call my parents right now and go to the hospital by them right now. She can call an ambulance right now, or at the end of the day, we could call my parents. I told her no, call my dad right now. I can't. I just couldn't. I had had enough. I was at the end. I had 12 suicide attempts later. My 13th one I never actually went through with. Like, I was sitting there, but Cody saved me. And I was taken to a hospital near me. It's called Mather. I don't know if you guys want to look into it. It's really not that close to me, but it's close enough. It's an hour away from where I live, but it's not that far. It was good, because the other option that I had was to go to schedule an appointment to get evaluated for inpatient, whereas the other one was just walk in and get taken in. So I went there. I was there at I arrived there at 12:30, 1 o'clock. I was taken upstairs to 2 North, and that's where I was. I stayed in 2 North for 13 days. Me and one of my friends there called 2 North the gateway to hell, because it was just a wreck up there. I had escaped from 2 North almost every day. I got into the adult unit on day 7, and this is fun. I went to the adult unit, and this dude came up to me. I don't really know how old he was. He seemed to be older, like in his 70s or so. He came up to me, grabbed me by my shoulders, and said, "Do you hear them? Do you hear them too? Everyone's telling me that they can't hear them, that I'm crazy." And I looked at him and said, "No, I hear them. I know who you're talking about." He said, "Oh good, I'm so glad that someone else can hear them. I'm so happy, because no one believes me. They think I'm crazy." I just looked at him and said, "You're not crazy, they're there. You have to listen to him, though." And then I was dragged away from him, and he just was like, "No, you can't take away my only friend." He was so upset that I had to leave, but it is what it is. I had to leave, and I gave him the comfort of knowing he wasn't alone. While I was there, I skipped a bunch of days, so I'm gonna go with day 1. Night 1, I just kind of went to bed. Day 1, I visited with my doctor, and he seemed okay for the first couple of days. He wasn't so bad. And then he put me on a medication called Prozac. It's an antidepressant. We had group therapy, we had food, all that was daily. We had 3 hours of school on school days, which kind of sucked because I'm in all advanced classes then. Well, I was, and they didn't have anyone that could teach me physics or psychology. Yeah, psychology. They couldn't teach me psychology in a psych ward. But no one could teach me anything. So I said, okay, I'm gonna sit here and stare at the clock. Day 3, I was staring at the clock, and I started realizing that you couldn't hear 2 things at the same time. Like, you couldn't think 2 things at the exact same time. It doesn't work. The thoughts will just interrupt each other constantly. So I went, my collar's bothering me. So I went to my doctor the next day and told him, day 3, I went to stick with my doctor. We'll go to I'm trying to tell the story in the least confusing way possible. I'll just continue. So I told my doctor the next day that I had been hearing these voices, and he goes, "Well, why didn't you tell me this before?" And I go, "I didn't really realize. I thought that they were me." He's like, "Well, how did you realize?" And I said, "You can't think two things at the same time, can you?" And he goes, "No." And I go, "That's how." He's like, "Okay." And then he put me on Zyprexa. And this is why I hate him. Because day one I told him, "You can't put me on any medications that will make me gain weight fast because I've been anorexic." He didn't question it. He said, "Okay." Day 3 he told me, "Why are you even here? You seem so happy all the time." And I looked at him and said, "If you think that faking this for so long has done me nothing and I don't know how to pretend to be happy, then you're really fucked up." And I walked out of the room because I didn't want to deal with it. And then the medication he put me on for my voices was Zyprexa. This is not fun because the combination of Zyprexa and Prozac, I gained 33 pounds in a week. And this week I was still in there. This was day 9 that I freaked out over this weight gain because they weighed us every morning, took all of our vitals, asked us if we had shit or not. It was very fun. And I was... What did I do? I bugged out. I stopped eating, and every time I would eat, I'd throw up. They had me on bulimia watch, and I was demoted to a level C, which you can't leave the 2 North, the wing, at all, ever, which means that I can't do any of the activities at all, which kind of sucked. But it doesn't matter because I kept escaping. It was really fun. And bulimia watch, they have someone stand outside the cracked open bathroom door as you peed, and I couldn't go into my room because the bathrooms were in the rooms. Like, you shared your bathroom with your roommate. There was no communal bathroom. It was just your roommate's bathroom. And I was throwing up all the time, so I was not allowed to go to the bathroom for 2 hours. I couldn't be in my room for 2 hours after eating. It was bad. And day 8 was fun because day 8 was the day I had a panic attack. And I told them that I needed to talk to someone. And they said, "Oh, you have to learn to deal with this yourself," which is fine and dandy, but I needed to talk to someone, and they didn't listen to me. So they said, "Oh, we'll pace the halls." And I said, "Okay." So I paced the hall. I walked back and forth, and I started running back and forth, and back and forth. And they told me I couldn't run. So I went to my room. I started slamming my head into the wall, punching it, kicking it. I put about 3, 4, 5, 8 holes in the wall. 7 or 8 holes in the wall, something like that. With my hands and with my fists and my feet. Just because I couldn't stop, I dented the wall with my head. Someone finally walked by as I'm slamming the back of my head into the wall. And she goes, "Do you want me to get someone?" And I go, "Yeah, please." 5 minutes later, she shows up and I start screaming at her. I goes, "How the fuck could you do this to me? I needed your help and you abandoned me." She goes, "Hold on." She runs out of the room and apparently calls security, and by the time they were back, I'd already put my fist through the plexiglass chicken wire window. I stood there with my fist stuck and turned around when they walked in and said, "I didn't do it." And of course I had. My fist was still stuck in the window. So they had to take the entire window, put it on my lap, in a stretcher that I was strapped down to, after they had sedated me. Which, the sedative we called booty juicing, because it's a shot in your ass that tranquilizes you. So, yeah, they had strapped in 3 of my limbs, and this is the fun part. After this, they forgot to strap in the hand that was still stuck in the plexiglass window. So when I woke up, I was still in the hospital because they had to examine my wrist and take an x-ray after I woke up. Oh, sorry. My computer screen went dark. But they had to take an x-ray of my wrist to make sure I didn't break anything. But they couldn't do it when I was asleep. So I woke up. And when I woke up, My hand was fine, obviously, and I let myself out of my restraints and wreaked havoc in the hospital. I ran everywhere. I said hi to sick patients, said how's your day, ran out, did this, did that. I don't know. I was having fun. And then they finally caught me and put me back in True North and said, fuck it, I don't care if your wrist is broken, you're gonna have to fucking deal with it. And I said, okay. But that was fun. This also gets fun because, what did I do later on? I forget. So long ago. Oh, I should probably tell you that I got out. I got out January 25th. And that was nice, 2011. It was 2 days before my dad's birthday, so my dad was very happy that I was home for his birthday because he asked me, he goes, if you can, just get out for my birthday, please. And I said, okay. So I got out in time for his birthday, and that made him very happy. When I was out, I was in outpatient through the other hospital that was gonna make me wait for a while to get an appointment to be seen to get into inpatient. So I went to that outpatient program, which was fun. I learned to play guitar while in inpatient, because all I had with me was my guitar, and I just played guitar all the time. Literally. When I wasn't wrecking havoc or throwing my brains up because I had eaten food, I was playing my guitar. What else? What else is fun? At the outpatient program, I played guitar all the time. I don't know, we did some fun groups, we did a couple of things that were nice, and that was kind of the end of it. Outpatient has nothing important, except for the fact that my doctor was a dickhead, and determined that I was psychotic, and I was like, yeah, really? Fuck you. I knew that already. He tells me one day straight up, well, you're psychotic, and I go, thanks, asshole. So, one of the days I was printing out, this is in inpatient, by the way, one of the days I was printing out, I'd asked one of the nurses to print out, a guitar tab for me. So, she was printing out the tab, and one of the other nurses was doing something in my binder. And the way the binders are set up is that the tabs have different disorders on the tabs, and it's the symptoms the symptoms that they're treating for each disorder are in it. So the disorders that are possible diagnoses, because in New York State you can't diagnose a minor with any mental illness until they're not a minor. So I saw my binder with possible diagnoses. Ridiculous amount of shit. They thought I had multiple personality disorder, PTSD, ADD, this, that, the other. Oh my god, let's go through this. There was multiple personality disorder, ADD, psychotic tendencies, suicidal tendencies, depression, bipolar, borderline personality disorder, psychosis, I think I said that already, or psychotic tendencies, I said one or the other already. There was auditory hallucinations, which are true. There was schizophrenia, which I don't think I'm schizophrenic. I'm very conscious and aware of my reality. It was a lot. It was bad. And then there was seasonal depression, which, I don't know. There was a lot of things that were going on in that binder that I was very confused about, so I kind of just dismissed it. When I went into a different program, which is not like half patient, where it's like a day school, which is the outpatient program I went into right away, was a half-day program, where I was there for like a regular school day. It started at 9 in the morning, and we were released at 3, or like 2 something around there, and we went home, and we got to sleep at home, but we went to therapy during the entire day, which wasn't so bad. And then the actual outpatient program I went into, I got a new doctor, and this doctor was super helpful, and she said, okay, you're not happy with these meds, let's switch your meds. And now I'm on Zoloft and Abilify, which I absolutely love, because they've really helped me out. Currently the deal with my medication is that it's a delicate balance, and I have to keep it kind of like, I have to keep tabs on how I am and how I'm doing. So it is what it is. It's kind of just like it's fun. Okay, it's just like I gotta keep track of myself and know that, oh, I'm getting a little bit more manic, or I'm getting a little bit more depressed, and alter my medications quickly. Not a big deal. I finally have a new doctor because I'm going to college, so my new doctor is just keeping me in check. That's all he's doing, which is great. He's keep giving me my meds. He's super helpful, super awesome, nice guy. He does what he needs to do, and he gave me my official diagnosis, which is what he calls mood disorder, which is basically bipolar, but it's like a lesser form of bipolar. So I have mood disorder. He says that I probably had ADHD as a child that developed into ADD as I grew up. And he also said that I definitely have auditory hallucinations, but those are in check, so it's all good. That's it. That's my story. This is a really long video, and I'm super sorry about that. But yeah, explore it. So here it is. Bye, guys.